Yo guys, I'm Glasswave, and I'll be showcasing all the strikers in Omega Strikers, starting with Juliet, the eager rookie. Juliet, the eager rookie. She's very generic and straightforward. She's a brawler in and out, and because of this she's very popular in all levels of play. Her biggest downside though is her range. All of her abilities are melee. Let's see what makes her such a great and strong brawler though. So beside her regular strike and regular core flip, her primary is Fiery Fist, which is a punch forward. It hits all enemies in a straight line forward, increases with size because it's melee, and it has okay damage. Her secondary is Flying Phoenix, which is a fixed range dash towards the cursor. It hits the ball and the enemies as well, just like any of her abilities. This is going to be a key move to her combo, the Dash Punch, and I'm sure you can guess what the combo is by that name. Well, I'll show it. The Dash Punch is when you dash and then punch. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Look, you can even do it at an angle. But this combo is the biggest part of what makes Julie such a huge threat. You can knock anyone out from about the distance of the orbs without any awakenings. Speaking of, I would take anything that further amplifies her already high damage and knockback, and a lot of speed beside that to be able to position better and make up for her short range. Also, because most of her abilities are short range, taking size improves her a lot, so consider those, especially built different. If you don't have these available, then taking a cooldown reducing awakening is also nice to have. Her special is Flame Flurry, which is a bunch of punches and then a kick. It can stop the ball, and it can also kick the ball. It's pretty good for like messing up with the goalie's timing. Pretty useful skill. Oh, and by the way, while you're in the dash, you can do anything. You can punch. Opa. You can punch. You can strike. Strike the ball. And you can also use your special. Overall, she's always nice to have on your team. Very strong on some maps, but never bad on any. Her emote is spammable, so all of that combined makes her a high A tier striker in my opinion. As the enemy, she could prove as an annoyance, but you just kinda have to stay away from her to not get hit. Watch out for the edges. I don't think it's hard to play against her. And while I was getting clips for this video, I actually started to really like her because of how simple she is and how easy it is to knock out people. Next up, Kai, the natural superstar. Slinging fireballs left and right, Kai is a versatile striker. Good for either offense or defense, shooting from mid-range or getting up close and stuffing the core through. His primary is called Barrage. He shoots a barrage of 5 light-hitting fireballs, great for stuffing or anti-stuffing, and because of the range you can cover most of your blind spots as a goalie. His secondary, Blazing Pace, is just a plain speed boost, which lasts for 4 seconds. It's not a huge boost, so getting a chrono boost could prove useful. Giga Blast is his special, which is quite long range, damages and knocks people away in its blast radially. So it's kinda hard to shoot the ball in the intended direction, very hard to aim, but it's really handy as a knockout tool, because it knocks back really far. Pretty easy to insta-flip too. With Kai on your team as a forward, you can have a real easy time stuffing the core onto barriers and into goals. But as he is not a brawler, you will have less knockout pressure. Even though his special tries to make up for that, it has a 20-second cooldown, so you have to use it well to get value out of it. As an opponent, stuffing through Kai is never really a good idea, so consider passing around him or dribbling to bait out his barrage. Also, try not to stand too close to the edges, since the knockback on his Giga Blast are huge. Overall, great for defending and attacking. I really like his secondary because it isn't a fixed range dash, so you have so much more control over your movement. But his emotes aren't really spammable, so he's only B tier. Our third striker is Dubu, the endearing defender. The best goalie ever in my opinion. He can get out of so many sticky situations with his abilities. I love this guy not only because he is so good at defending, but also both of his emotes are very spammable. So this of course instantly makes him at least A tier. His primary rollout acts as a barrier on the startup animation, and after he releases the log, it acts as a projectile which breaks on first contact with anything. You can use this to stop stuffs and push the ball through the attackers after they hit it at you. His secondary is a slow rolled, which is called Summer Assault. It's pretty slow, not much faster than regular walking speed. It stuns enemies hit, pushes them quite a bit, and stops the core in its place. Most of the time you can stuff with this, but it's not that reliable, so I'd rather use it to reset to neutral and then try to win a strike war, or just pass to my teammates while the enemy is stunned. His special, Tofu Fortress, makes Dubu who he really is. He throws out an arc of plates that stop on first contact with enemies or the core. Very good for area denial. You can lock down a whole half of the map if you position it correctly, and if you have the right awakenings. Playing him isn't very tricky, but using his wall correctly could be a bit hard, or at least I see a lot of people use it incorrectly, since a lot of times the core can bounce around it, making your situation worse rather than better. To avoid this, try to use it preemptively and let the ball bounce back after the wall lands, so it doesn't mess up its structure. Also, I forgot to mention, but you can insta-flip with his secondary and his special, as you can see right here. Going up against him, you gotta bait out his abilities first. So having a good forward duo is essential to beating him, since stuffing through is hard at best. Overall, he's a really great defender. His wall allows him to play more up in the action, so you can move up to the midfield if you need to help your forwards pressure the enemy. Very spammable emotes. S tier. Alright, second to last striker I'm gonna talk about is Estelle, the stunning sniper who excels at pressuring from far away with long range shots. All of her abilities are pretty annoying, but her primary, piercing shot, is annoying because it stuns enemies hit, which means if you line up with the core, she'll stuff you so hard. But like, not in a good way. Yeah, you'll get stuffed. She'll get a score. It's not very nice. Anyways, her second ability, Rose Warp, is a blink, then a shot at the closest target. Very good ability for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's insta-flippable. It's hard to defend against because of the radial hit, and it's just a great defense tool if she needs to help her goalie out. Her special, which is also insta-flippable, is Crystal Thorns. Estelle shoots a cone of fuck you towards the enemy goalie usually. If you can combine this with her primary, this can be damn near impossible to defend against. Of course, if the enemy doesn't have a flip. As her, you want to play her from a distance, so midfield, but still you have to be aggressive because of her strong stuffing ability. Don't be afraid to take shots at the goal and be on the lookout for sloppy goalies who line up with the core and you. Also, it's really easy to catch people off guard when they're near edges, so be on the lookout for goalies who stand way too back in their goal, or careless forwards. Playing against her, you gotta be on the lookout not to line up with her and the core, and if you're the goalie, you must wait for her to use all her abilities before you can clear across the goal. Otherwise, it's just an easy shot for her. Overall, her emotes aren't really spammable, so I don't really care about her, except if she's against me, because it's really tedious to defend against her because of her long range and her ability to stuff me. Owie. Last up, Atlas, the steadfast protector. Although movement is not his thing, with a few speed awakenings, he is a real goat at defending. His primary, Astral Projection, is a shield-like projectile that moves out slowly and then stops at the end. It's a lot like Dubu's primary, except it doesn't disappear on first touch, but rather can only hit any target once. It's kinda hard to push through it, and also you can insta-flip with this. His best defense ability is his secondary, Cosmic Expanse. The best way to counter it is by baiting Atlas to use it without hitting anything with it, so this way it won't like deflate like a balloon. His special is Celestial Intervention, makes every teammate of his rescuable for the duration of the pool that he places. That also heals. This means if anyone gets knocked out, they instead revive instantly in the middle of the healing zone with quarter of their max stagger. As Atlas, you are the defender. Moving up with him could be fine if you have a barrier advantage, but since he doesn't have any kind of movement ability, it's really difficult to go unpunished. I guess against him, killing him would be your best tactic, but he can just place his ult under himself, and so that kind of makes it impossible, but you can kill him again. Yeah, it's very hard to play around his skills, but it's not impossible. So just bait out his skills and it's easy. Of course, easier said than done. Conclusion, it's a real chore to push through his defense. He is really useful against brawlers or on maps like Amy's app or Atlas's lab because of his ultimate. If you can react fast enough, you can save your teammates right before they are knocked out, so that could save you from a lot of goal situations. Well, that's the first 5 strikers explained in Omega Strikers. I hope I could show you something new about them and not just say the obvious. Let me know if I should do the rest of the characters or if I left something out, if I should go more in depth with each striker. Drop a like if you liked the video and dislike if you didn't. Bye! So this of course instantly makes him at least A tier.